Everything stated in this video is my opinion and my opinion only. And just like everything else in these cases we discuss here on this channel, everything is alleged. Hey, you guys. How are y'all doing? I'm going to look extra bright white in this one because my dad, while we were at the hospital, for those of you who are watching my community post, while my dad was here with my oldest son, he basically changed like all the light bulbs. So everything is just like bright. It's just bright. So I'm just going to be my bright white self. And this is just how this is going to look. Oh, I guess the house doesn't like me talking shit about the bright white lights, but you know what? It just is what it is. How's everybody doing? It's been a long time since we've been live. Now, what I have here is just the interview that Steve and Alivea Goncalves did with Ashley Banfeld, and it's the one where her sound is crap because I don't exactly know when. Okay, you know how she does stuff. Ashley Banfeld does stuff where she has people on her News Nation show, and then she'll go and she'll do a segment on her own show. It's so hard to take it seriously because she's asking all the exact same freaking questions. She's saying all the exact same freaking statements. And it's like we're supposed to expect these people to be like not scripted when they're answering her, but it's all the exact same stuff. So I know that she did do another one on her own channel. I don't know if it was with Steve or not. I just sort of like skimmed to where Alivea was. And it sort of sounded the same. So I don't know if she went in and recorded herself re-asking the same questions, just like in a different way, and then edited in her questions in between the answers that she already got from the News Nation session or not. I don't know the way that she does her weird shit. I just know that once I figured out her pattern, everything that she puts on her show, if she's already done it on News Nation, it's scripted. It's not the first reaction to the answers. And when I hear people answer her after already hearing them answer this question an hour previously on the other show, I feel like you're fake because the way that you're sort of like, oh, well, that's such a good question. That sounds like a real scripted response, like way to start your response. So we're just going to go off of the one on News Nation because it's probably the most pure it can be for the situation. So her sound is going to be poop. But that's not my problem because you know what? She works for a bazillion-dollar company, and the fact that her sound is bad is not my issue. So that's just the one. That's just the one that we're going to end up looking at. Let's see who's in here tonight. Hey there, Gina. Yeah, the ads are still wild. I'm still going in there and deleting like one for every 3. And they want to keep putting an ad in like the first minute and 45 seconds. I'm like, nobody is going to stay watching a video if within 60 seconds I have to deal with an ad. It's like YouTube doesn't want to make money because like people posting is how they get advertisements for stuff to happen. So I don't know why that's the game that they play, but it's really annoying, especially whenever you constantly have to go in there and fix it. Alivea does look extremely different, doesn't she? One second. She does look a lot different, but we do have to remember, I mean, obviously there's things that she obviously did to get to what she looks like now because she's like hella dark. Her hair is really, really long. Her hair looks healthy, so I guess she's healthy. She lost that weight so quickly. It did look really concerning, but we again have to remember she was pregnant, like heavy pregnant when she first stepped into the camera. So she's going to look different, but it is drastic. I will say it is very, very drastic. Hey there, Becca. And hi, Casey Rain. How you doing? I've never heard of this little dude before. I'm going to pop up this guy's IMDb. I don't know, Sadie, who this person is. I have no idea. I have no clue. And I don't know if they've started filming just yet either. I'm going to look and see if there's some more information on that. Do you guys remember? Hey, Christina. Hey, Cammie. Do you guys remember like a while back, I think in like 2024, was it 2024 or 2023? I actually kind of feel like it was 2023. There was a bunch of rumors going around that there was a movie about the crime going to come out like around Christmas. And Ron Howard was connected to it. And it wasn't just like rumor. There were articles and interviews and people talking about it. I guess I don't remember anything like to that caliber coming out. I just know that we've had like pretty much every network has done their own. People were even commenting to me that Tubi, Tubi, it's like in my head, so I have to say it. They have like their own version. I have it like on my list of things to watch. I don't know if it's any good. I don't know if it's accurate. And I know people are like upset about this movie, but we're going to watch it. We're going to watch it. We're going to debunk it. We're going to go through it. We're going to see if they're full of shit. We're going to see if they actually did rip it out the headlines, which means it's all not really truth. It's not from the documents. It's basically all of just the big trending conversations without any facts behind it, is how I interpret ripped from the headlines. So I don't know. I don't know how accurate it's going to be. I guess we'll find out. This isn't shocking. It's also not like this dude is like a nobody. These are not A-list actors. It's not like it's Jake Gyllenhaal. It's not like it's, you know, people that they're going to have to be paying like all these mazillions of dollars to. It's very low budget, Lifetime, like Gypsy Rose Lifetime movie level. So, I mean, I understand why the families and why maybe some people are like, they shouldn't be doing this. And honestly, it's all just a bunch of repetitive stuff anyway, especially if they're not going to dig into any of the documents and put any truth out there. But then again, I'm prejudging it based off of the way that I've already seen a lot of things done. But I will say this. Regardless of what Gypsy Rose has tried to come out and say to the public since she got out, in her emails and stuff that came out from while she was in prison, she has stated several times that the Lifetime movie that was done regarding her was like the realest to the truth. And they made her look horrible. They made the whole situation look crazy. So I don't know if we should take that into consideration a little bit. But I mean, all of these things, we don't have any facts. Like, we have whatever they have out there right now, but we still don't have information from the FBI. We're still missing information from whatever Homeland Security apparently did. We're missing stuff from Pennsylvania. We're missing information about his actual arrest. We're missing a lot of information. So how they're expecting us to believe that they're going to be able to do something that's actually accurate when we don't actually have information, it's all a money grab at this point. Like, if they're doing it now instead of waiting until we have all of the facts, I don't know how they're going to actually put this out and it be accurate. Because we still don't know what time Xana and Ethan got home. We still have discrepancies on if the boys met up with Xana at Sigma Chi, or if we're supposed to believe Bethany when all of a sudden, for the first time in 3 years, we're being told that Ethan actually walked the girls over to the party that night. There's so many discrepancies in back and forths. I don't see how they can do this and have a good conscience about it. But you know what? They don't do this stuff to have a good conscience. So it honestly doesn't really surprise me. It really just does not at all. Hey there, Michelle. How you doing? Hey there, Mandy. Hey, Skull Mackie. How you doing? Hey, Jackie. Hey, Jean. How you doing? We're just going to watch this and see what they have to say. I just also find it a little crazy that they want to have something to say about the Lifetime movie out of like everything that they should be out here and speaking about, because the Goncalveses are responsible for a lot of insanity when it comes to the lies, the misconceptions, the miscommunications. Everything that we've been talking about here recently on the channel for the camera for 1112 proves that, because they've yet to be like, here's the damn footage. Here is where we saw Maddie and Kaylee getting home, where we saw the girls walking out and taking the dog to go to the bathroom. So now I'm really questioning, did y'all really just like watch a car pull into the neighborhood at 156 on this camera? And what? Are we supposed to believe that at some time before 225, when the camera actually starts in way of evidence, according to MPD, recently, that somehow they can tell that the girls, meaning Bethany and Maddie, not Kaylee and Maddie, took Murphy to go to the bathroom? Because I don't know how we're supposed to believe they actually saw that if this is the camera that they've actually had this entire 3 years and they've been boasting it up for something that it's not, which is what it sounds like. It sounds like this is what they have, and it doesn't actually look at the house. But then we also go to the report that Brett Payne wrote about his interview with Molly and the camera footage that he's apparently putting his own description on in that report. So the Goncalves coming out and complaining about this is interesting because, again, there's actual things, actual facts about this case. that they could be coming out and actually talking about, and they're not. And I don't really quite understand that, other than the things they should be talking about make them look bad. So instead they want to talk about things that make everybody else look bad instead of focusing on the stuff that they should be answering. Because both of them that we're about to pop up on the screen here are responsible for a lot of chaos. And again, I understand they lost a daughter, they lost a sister, but that's no reason to come out and straight up lie. They've lied to the public this entire time. They all knew there was a third person with the girls. They all knew about that 17-minute phone call between Kaylee and Jack. They've known things. They've chose to come out and not be honest. And I just don't really quite understand why. I really don't get it. They're apparently, let me see actually if they've started doing this stuff yet. Lifetime, what would you call this? Filming schedule? See if I can see if it says anything about when they're supposed to start it. Oh, set to begin this month. So they're going to start filming right now. Smack dab in the middle of October, apparently. Yeah. All right, let me show you this guy, in case y'all haven't seen it yet. This is the guy that is apparently supposed to play Bryan. I'd love to see who they're going to be getting to play everyone. I don't know why the first and only person that we're seeing is this guy. I wish we would see who is playing the victims. I would love to see that. Put a 1 in the chat if you know who this dude is. Because I don't know who this dude is. Never seen this guy before. He's not like a big time actor. I also don't watch a lot of Lifetime. Like, unless there's something specific to a case I'm interested in, I'm not watching Lifetime. So put a 1 in the chat if you've seen this dude. Put a 2 if you've got no clue who he is. Yeah, I don't know who this guy is. Now, the only picture where there's any sort of similarity is right here, because he's got this like bump thing on his nose and his eyebrows are a little bit thick, sort of like some of the pictures that Bryan does have of himself. But other than that, like, I don't know. Yeah, I have no clue. No, they're a person. He's apparently been in a couple different things. Let me see. Something called Untamed, Girl in the Shed, The Kidnapping of Abby Hernandez from 2022. Untamed just came out this year. Okay, so this is like a Netflix movie. A miniseries on Netflix. I recognize, isn't that Eric Bana? Yeah, I recognize this guy. So he's in this. I don't know how much of that I can show without like YouTube acting like a crackhead. And then like this movie is literally just plainly called The Idaho Murders. Steven Adelson is the person who's directing it. Written by Michael Vickerman. Okay, so, this is who's going to play Emily Allant. So they have Bryan Kohberger's character and Emily Allant's characters figured out. I've never seen this girl before either. What does this say? Sarah Louise Coldridge is an Australian actor. She appeared in the horror anthology Dead House Dark and made her feature film debut in Malibu Crush. She will next appear in the Lifetime production of The Idaho Murders. I mean, she's pretty. I've never seen her before, though. There's another picture of her. She's gorgeous. But this is who's playing Emily. It's interesting. That's the only 2 that they have. That's the only 2 people that they actually have, like, cast already, is the Kohberger character and Emily Allant. Now, you'd think that they would be focusing more on, like, the victims. Or is that just the top cast? Are they not going to show anybody else? That's all it's showing. That's all that it's showing. See production info. Oh, I'm not signing in or paying for anything. So yeah, I'm good, bro. Like, I don't need to know that damn bad. Yeah, I don't know. I've never heard these people. I don't know who these people are. She's real pretty. He's got kind of a similar nose. That's really all I can see here. And I don't know anything about Michael Vickerman. I mean, it sort of sounds familiar. What has he done? Anything that I would know? Okay, so he wrote The Murdaugh Murders, Girl in the Shed. Okay, so he does a lot of... I've never seen any of these. The Haunting on Sorority Row, Intimate Strangers, Superfire, Trap, Target Earth, Dead by Midnight. Yeah, he's apparently been writing stuff since 1994. Not to say that he might not be a good writer. I just don't know who he is. But if he wrote the Murdaugh one, I know a lot of people watched that one. I don't freaking know. But yeah, that's the skinny on that situation. That's what's happening right now. Now, they're, again, starting it now. I don't know if they have anything about, like, when it's supposed to be out. But we're going to do this just like we do all the rest of them. I mean, it's Lifetime. They've done docuseries. I mean, to me, this is, like, nothing different. That's just me. That's just me. I feel like we're going to watch it anyway. I'm going to be like, hey, they got this wrong. Hey, this was interesting. Hey, this is new, but I don't know if it's legit. Like, what we're going to do is what we always do. It'll be a live situation. I can't play it on the screen because I'll get in hella trouble. Hella trouble. So if you guys want to press play and watch along while I react live, then that's just how we're going to do stuff. But we're not going to treat it any differently than we do all the rest of the, like, docuseries. I just don't know what they're going to really do when we need the information. Me too. I hope that they have some facts. I hope that they are honest about the IGG stuff and all the bullshit that the feds did. I hope that there's some honesty, because that would be refreshing to see. But I don't know. I don't know if they're going to focus more on Jack and Kaylee's love story, Xana and Ethan's love story, Kaylee and Maddie's friendship. Like, there's always a main focal point. And I don't know if they're going to use all of them. I don't know if they're going to use everything. We know that the mainstream media mainly focused on Kaylee and Jack, even though they have been broken up. But I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with this one. It's interesting. Yeah, I heard people talking about the Chris Watts movie on Twitter that they did. I just don't know if it's going to be any good. No way. Autumn Goncalves is Kaylee's little sister, and she's saying that she went to a haunted house and there was some sort of Idaho 4 attraction inside. Was that here in Texas? Because I know that she goes to a college here in Texas, so I would assume that that was here. That's freaking horrible, bro. That's not freaking okay. See, I don't follow none of them on TikTok. Like, I see Samantha's stuff sometimes, and I go and see, like, what Alivea is talking about if somebody tells me she said something. Other than that, I'm not really ever on there. I don't even post my own stuff on there, even though I know I need to be using it more. That's disgusting. That is disgusting. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Oh, my God. No, that's nasty. I cannot believe that some haunted house thought that was a damn good idea. That was crazy. Let me see if I can find it. That's wild. I'd like to know, like, what place it was. That's so sick. Oh, as soon as I said, oh, I see Samantha sometimes. Look what pops up the second I open TikTok. I haven't been on here in like a week and a half, 2 weeks almost. That's crazy that she just popped up on there. Okay, let me see. You said it was Autumn. I don't know if she has her full name on here. Like, I don't follow them. Oh, she does. Okay, let me see. Oh, she's got it like real tied down. Yeah, she's just got like this little bitty bit on here, so I don't know. Anyway, that's sick. That's really disgusting if that was the case. She's in college. Like, that's the youngest one, right? She's in college here in Texas. They said the college that she was at. I know where she's at. I'm just not going to repeat it because I felt they were freaking stupid to tell the world where she's going to be going to college whenever they've already got a kind of weirdos watching every freaking move of their life. They should have never put that information out there, but you know. Oh, it's Aubrey that just moved. Okay. I knew it was one of them. But yeah, no, that's gross. So Autumn, is she still in Idaho then? So this is somebody in Idaho's haunted house that did this? I mean, it's not good if it even if it was the Texas one. That's just horrible all the way around. But Idaho haunted house doing that is horrible. Wow, where's like the brains? I just don't understand. Where's the brains at? I don't get it. That's disgusting. Whoever came up with that concept probably should just get fired, because that's nothing that belongs in a damn haunted house. Okay. I cut this however long it was down to like 12 minutes. I took out stuff about Kohberger's sister because I have a separate a separate video about that, probably going to come out tomorrow or the next day. I personally don't think that it's a big deal. It seems normal to me, especially with the cell phone situation. But we've also heard from both sides that like the family didn't have anything to say. They really didn't have anything to say at all about anything. So it's just like a short video. I took it out of here. And I also took out where they were discussing how the person who leaked the footage of Bryan in prison isn't going to face any charges, because we already talked about that here. I have a video about that one too. So this is just going to be like their thoughts, a couple of other questions that Banfield asks them, and then there's stuff about the movie. There's a couple other things they say towards like the end that I left in, simply because I'm going to make a point about how this is like, well, I'm just going to say it now. At the very end of this, she's asked questions like she asked Steve questions about anything that he has heard about the way that Kohberger is in prison that like makes him feel good, which is just a weird question, you know, just to like put out there in the first place. But he says like the same thing that goes back to the complaints that we read about like a couple of months back, when there was like a couple of days where people were reading the handwritten complaints that Kohberger had wrote out at the prison. And Steve is just doing the same thing that Steve has done for the past 3 years. And it's just sick at this point, because you know it, you see it, you know it. He's full of shit. He's acting like he's gotten this new information, when in reality, he's feeding off of the information that we had from 2 months ago and reiterating it as if it's something that he just now heard that he can then like boast off of. But you can tell by the way that he answers it and the verbiage that he uses that he hasn't heard a damn thing brand new. No one's given him any information about anything. He's just taking what we've already heard and trying to make it sound special for some reason. And I don't understand the point to all of this. This situation is horrible enough. It's tragic enough. There's no reason to exaggerate. There's no reason to lie. There's no reason to do any of the things. But for some reason, they all like to do this, including Stacey Chapin, which is another thing that we're going to be talking about in the next few days. Something that she said recently. That girl, it's been 3 years. Don't you know the truth about this by now? But just keep that in mind for later on. Did you get the email I sent you last night? Probably. Let me check. Let me see. Oh, about Murphy? Yeah, I see it. Okay, I'll put a star on this one, and I'll read it and go over it later on tonight, because that's another thing that we still are trying to figure out, is all of Murphy's timeline, because in the beginning there was rumors that the dog was actually missing, and then that sort of just like went away, and it was sort of like he wasn't there, and then he like showed up, but again it just like was fleeting. And now we're hearing, oh, the girls actually, and the girls being technically Bethany and Maddie, according to Bethany's recent story, lost Murphy at some point. And we don't know when he was found. We just know that we're supposed to believe that in between like 2:30 and 3 o'clock, when he was apparently missing and Maddie was looking for him, and they were calling all over the place, including calling Bethany's phone, trying to find him, in the time of the crime, that Murphy is found and back in the house, because Dylan is claiming that she can hear him barking. We can hear him barking on the cameras. She's also claiming that she can hear Kaylee and the dog like dancing around and playing together on the second floor, not above her. I mean, not above on the third floor, the way that a lot of the insinuation was in the PCA, like she was in her own room with the dog, but more like, no, she was right there on the same floor, on the second floor. And we don't have a lot of the back and forth. We don't have a lot of the in between, especially now. Like the interviews, Dylan's like, I don't know how you found the dog, because he was like not in the house. He was far away. How'd he get in Kaylee's room? There's a lot. Now, I know that some people were also mentioning the fact that they sort of like knew that Murphy belonged to Jack, and Jack was in the back of the car, and people were acting like they were upset about the fact that they didn't just let Jack take off with Murphy, but he's the ex-boyfriend of a murder victim at this point. I'm not going to be letting him take that dog either. I don't know if he had something to do with anything. He could sit right where he's at. That's that whole situation right then and there. Them not letting Jack take Murphy is probably the only thing I don't have a complaint about, other than the fact they didn't process the dog for blood or anything else either. But that makes sense to me. It makes sense to me that they didn't just let Jack take off with the dog. They didn't know what the hell was going on at first. So there's that. Okay, let's go ahead and see. Don't do anything with the FOIAs yet. I mean, if y'all want to donate to the FOIA fund, that's fine too. But right now we're still waiting. So I did the deposit for the knife sheath one. I have a couple of other ones in there, but I haven't gotten any prices on anything else yet. So whatever, there's like $400. There's $423 in the FOIA fund, and that's after I paid the $83. So that's all of y'all. That's all of y'all. That's all of y'all donating. I have the whole thing on like tabbed. I probably need to go ahead and put it in an Excel spreadsheet so that y'all can actually look at it yourselves, because none of that is getting spent on anything but the FOIAs. So that's y'all's money. That's y'all wanting the truth and the facts. I'm just going to be coming out here and presenting it. That's y'all's product. So yeah, that's crazy. It was actually really fast, a lot faster than I really thought, especially since if I can't do it myself, I don't normally do it. But y'all were all like, no, we want to see this stuff. And so it's just there. It's there. And we're going to use it strictly for the FOIAs. Again, I have a couple other things in there for camera stuff. We're waiting on the knife sheath stuff. I don't know how much longer that's going to take. I know that whenever I talked to her to pay it, she said it could take like 6 weeks before they even got to it. And then I don't know how long it's going to take for them to actually go through it. So what is 6 weeks from now? After Thanksgiving? After Thanksgiving. Now, I do also find it interesting. There was somebody on Twitter that sent in a FOIA for the knife sheath stuff. And they were basically, let me see if I can find her post real quick, and then we'll go on to this. I actually wanted to show you guys something from this specific account anyway, because I don't know who this person is. And I know that we haven't started the video yet, but it's all on point for the case. So I'm just going to keep on running my mouth. I don't know who this person is. I don't know. I've never spoken to them directly. I have no freaking clue. Okay. This person right here, you see this website? This person right here put all of the stuff together. This is in order. It is so freaking well organized. And if you go to their socials, this is what I was trying to find. It's this person's account right here. They're called Rise for the Spiral. I don't know who this is. I just think that they do an amazing job. They have a website right here. Well, it's called, well, this is the whole thing. This is going to take you to the index. Because I didn't know where the rest of the MPD photos were. I'd only seen a very, very few of them. So I'm going to end up doing a video and going back over the photos because they have all the pictures in here. They have all of the freaking pictures in here. See, this is the report right here. See how they put this all together? Oh, y'all can't even see it. See how they put this all together? Like, this is so freaking organized. And look, like there's body cam footage, all the stuff. Now, there's one in here that actually shows like all of the pictures. Crime scene images. Oh, where'd it go? I just clicked it. Look, it's all of them. It's all like 180 something of them. These are like pictures that I've never seen. There's a lot on here that we had not seen. We basically just watched Snyder walk around and take these pictures. But this like release of photos would have been where the handful that we did get from MPD actually came from, because you have to remember MPD released just like a whatever to some local mainstream people, and then they didn't give us anything else, and everything went into court, all these privacy things. ISP, the Idaho State Police, are the ones that came in and gave us like all kinds of pictures from Kohberger's apartment, from the King Road house, all kinds of stuff. This, yes, it's a freaking amazingly put together website. Like, this is amazingly organized. Like, wow, organized. Okay, I know that from like following them on Twitter that they had been like working on trying to put something together, but I finally like found the link and clicked on it. I think it was yesterday, and I was like, holy shit, look at this organization. Talk about color me jelly. Because what? I could never get it this freaking organized with as fast as they did. This is extreme. So again, the links are in there. You guys can take a look at that. And this is the person's account right here. If you are on Twitter, you can go and follow them. It's very, 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 very organized. So we're going to be going over the rest of the MPD pictures soon because I hadn't been able to see them all until this website. Just absolutely wild. Absolutely wild. Well done. Okay. We're going to go ahead and watch this. Again, it's only 12 minutes. I took a lot of stuff out that we've talked about or we'll be talking about separately. So are y'all ready? Again, Banfield sound is crap. So I know that a lot of y'all don't like her voice to begin with, but her audio at her bazillion dollar company is crap. So y'all just be prepared for how bad it sounds. Ready? Ready? Okay.
If you are really plugged in, you will know that the role of the murderer, Bryan Kohberger, will be played by the actor Miles Mary, who also appeared in the Lifetime epic Girl in the Shed, the kidnapping of Abby Hernandez.
Steve, Olivia, thank you so much for joining me tonight. Let me start with you, Steve. You know, it seems we get a drib of information every week or two. I'm just wondering how you're processing all of it.
I had to.
You think it's over and then something comes out.
Oh, it's not a channel. I showed go back to where I showed Twitter. That is their like Twitter page, and then it's just a website. They don't have a YouTube channel. Yeah, I mean, look, she's a gorgeous girl, but somebody has got to eventually tell her, girl, something's wrong. You've got to chill out because she doesn't look healthy. But that's why I'm really confused because you can really tell someone's health by either like the way their nails are, like if they have like certain spots, if there's cracks, or their hair. Her hair looks like thick and just like voluminous. Like on her TikToks, her hair is like, it's big. So I guess that she's just like overdoing the weight loss, but she's healthy. I don't know. I know it's drastic.
You know, yeah, you hear about, your phone starts blowing up and all this new information comes out and you just kind of start searching just like everyone else. And it's shocking every time because you think that it's over, but it just keeps on hitting you.
And Olivia, no one knows the shoes you're walking in, right? No one can ever understand what you guys are going through. Everybody processes differently too.
See, and that's how I feel about her other like channel, because this part came out first. I checked it. There were like 6 hours or 6 or 7 hours different. So yesterday, whenever I was checking and comparing, the one on here on News Nation was 20 hours old at the time. And the one on her other channel was 13 hours old. So I took the older one. And it is a little wonky because whenever I do it on StreamYard, it's not great. But it's not great anyway because of the channel it is. So we're just going to suck it up.
You find yourself immediately wanting to know what the latest, ungagged information is? Or and you've got 4 children. You're a busy woman.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to get the information as fast as I can. The day that the gag order was lifted, we asked if we could have everything that we could have up front so that we could go through it on our own time, so that we could have time to process that. So yeah, I mean, we're on pins and needles just like everyone else, waiting for that next, drop of information.
What was the reason for them not giving you everything? Did they say they needed to redact it all first? Was there a logical reason?
I think it's mainly the redactions, as well as the prosecutor's office isn't the custodian.
See, that part's really stupid to me. Because she's probably right. It's probably all the damn redactions. Because look what I have told you guys from what they've told me when I've called MPD for the FOIA stuff. Even though we've gotten certain pieces already, certain things have been released, because there's so much body cam and so much camera stuff. She specifically said body cam. Okay, that was the verbiage that came out of the MPD FOIA chick's mouth, legal assistant's mouth. Body cam. That it could take 6 weeks because they're going through all those redactions. Why the frick wasn't this already done? They were already implementing redactions before anything was filed in the court. So they knew that people were going to be wanting these things. They knew that people were going to be asking for this stuff. So why didn't they already handle it? Get it done and ready to go. They've had 3 freaking years to do it. And then just the first person that sends in the request, charge them whatever. It's already on the chart for how much time it costs to do everything and finalize everything. charge the first person the way you normally would anyway, and then go on about your normal process. The fact that they waited until now to even bother, why? Why whenever you knew? But when it comes to the stuff that the family was asking for, that's something else too. The prosecution came to them, let all of the families know what was happening, what was in the works, what the conversation was. And they also knew that we had, okay, this court date coming up where we're going to go ahead and do the whole plea. This court date coming up when we're going to go ahead and we're going to do the sentencing. This is whenever we're going to be able to finally lift the gag order and speak. Why didn't they already have this stuff packeted and ready to go? A lot of things could have been done that weren't, simply because of laziness and incompetence. But the facts, when it comes down to it, about the way that the victims died, regardless of how bad it or whatever that it looks, that stuff should have never been hidden from the families. That's where the majority of the biggest issues came from, is that the things about their children directly were being completely kept from them. But we saw that in Delphi as well. We've seen that in a lot of cases. And I sort of get it, but I don't at the same time, because if you really want the family to trust you and think that you're going to be doing a good job in the investigation, you can't start that relationship with a bunch of secrets. At least tell them, hey, there's certain things we can't say to you, but we know that you deserve the truth, so we're going to give you as much of it as we possibly can. Instead, they played cat and mouse and stupid. It was all just really unnecessary. It really was just really unnecessary. Sean, thank you for the 10. I will get me a coffee. I sure will. Thank you so much.
Of many of these documents, right? You know, they're actually owned by Moscow Police Department or the Idaho Police Department. And so the documents that they own, it's my understanding that they're actually held up with the court process, which is going through that very, very lengthy sealing, unsealing, redaction process.
I guess that's another question. The court documents themselves, are they property of MPD or are they property of Ada County? Because they're filed in the court. I don't know. I know that we're still waiting on more stuff, and I've checked it again. There's nothing else from the last time when the witness list came out. That's it so far.
That's my understanding.
So as things, begin to draw.
I know Ashley Banfield is not wearing a Jack Skellington necklace. Is that Jack Skellington? Like, I don't want to have to give this lady kudos, but if that's Jack Skellington, I'm going to have to.
About this latest piece of information has sort of come out of nowhere, and it's that a Lifetime movie has been announced. They've hired an actor, and I think the working title is just The Idaho Murders, but it's one of the ripped from the headlines series. Steve, tell me your thoughts. I almost feel like it was inevitable that this was going to happen, but again, nobody walks in your shoes.
It's different.
I mean, I understand, like, maybe putting the label movie on it makes it feel a little bit different, but this isn't something that's going to be put in the theaters. You can't walk up to an AMC counter, buy a ticket, and go in and watch it. This is something that's going to be on a regular TV, just like every other docuseries over the past 3 years. I'd understand, again, if this was like some real A-list thing, them coming up being like, hold the hell up, bro. But this is Lifetime. I feel like this is just the norm now. I think really they're just more upset that they weren't contacted, because Alivea says that in a few minutes, that they were never even contacted about this, which, again, how accurate can you really do things if you're not even trying to reach out to the families about the victims to see if they could get movies about them, or maybe they're just studying everything on social media to see their mannerisms, their behaviors, their inflections, the way they talk and stuff. I don't know, but you'd think the family would have at least been contacted.
A little bit different because we're used to documentaries, but yeah, this is like a movie, and it's shocking to know that somebody feels the confident that they can just tell your story about your child. And Maddie, her best friend, the same people that you interacted with every day, picking them up from school, taking them to parties and taking them to birthday parties and things, and to have somebody else just tell this story, it doesn't seem real. It seems like somebody's just reaching into your house and stealing your life and putting it on the screen.
As
That's
new
been going
information
on the
comes
whole
out about
time,
the
though.
actual case, there's this information about the dramatic version of the case. Lifetime plans to, drop a movie in their ripped from the headlines series. They've even hired
See, the whole ripped from the headlines is what makes me think it's going to be a bunch of sensationalistic bullshit. That it's going to be about a bunch of stuff that has no backing, that has been disproven, but because it was a trending topic, that's what's going to be in the movie. That's what they're going to focus on. Just the whole ripped from the headlines thing already gives it like a bad taste.
The lead actor. No one walks in your shoes again, and I'm just wondering what it's like for you to hear that news.
Yeah, it's really angering, honestly, from my side. My sisters they're not a headline, they're not a Lifetime movie, and I get incredibly frustrated at the scripted aspect of it, right? We've experienced this in real time, and it's very, very much far from something that is specifically made for an entertainment purpose. I think that's the part that's the hardest for me to get over.
What do you think? What the hell do you think what you're talking on right now is called, Alivea? Do you think anybody actually watches News Nation because they have to, because it's detrimental to their life to watch News Nation? No, they watch it for entertainment. They watch it to listen to Ashley Banfeld and however the hell she's been told to talk. This is not a real news place. This place tells a bunch of stories and never actually gets any facts right. So the hypocrisy here is actually kind of wild, because if you hate it so much, stop getting on panels. Stop talking on social media. I understand y'all have been real quiet again, but that's because you don't want people asking you the questions that you know that you should be answering. So again, don't sit here and say that you hate it because it's technically for entertainment purposes. That's what you're doing right now. That's what you're doing right now.
Reach out to your family and ask for you to be consultants or part of the process?
Oh, absolutely not. No, we have not been. When you saw the article is when we saw the article. So we didn't have any inside information on that.
And if that makes you mad, then you should be even more pissed off at the fact that Dylan and Bethany still have not spoken to the Goncalveses. Ever. They've never spoken to them. As a matter of fact, just to remind everyone, when Alivea, trying to figure out what the hell was actually happening on 11/13/22, reached out to both Dylan and Bethany, both of them left her on red and never, ever answered her. And to this day, according to the hearing that happened over the summer and all of the recent interviews, they have yet to speak to them. So if it makes you upset the way it makes me upset that Lifetime didn't reach out to the Goncalveses, because regardless, that's bullshit. That's rude. They should have been contacted. It should piss you off even more that these so-say surviving roommates never even had the damn humanity to write back the family and tell them what the hell happened and what was going on. I'm just saying, you can't be mad at one and not the other.
I guess the flip side of that is, would you have wanted to be, just to ensure as much accuracy in your sister's story as possible?
I personally don't want to be a part of anything that's strictly for an entertainment purpose. So while I would have appreciated them reaching out for what that stands for, I wouldn't have taken part in something that is a scripted, fictional, dramatic reenactment of our and my sister's real life.
Any chance you would consider legal action? Some people actually sue for life rights if they're not paid for life rights.
I think you want to take that, Alivea?
Yeah, I really don't know.
You know, I could have sworn Alivea said something about how she was going to like take a break from being the family spokesperson. So why is she the one talking? Like, why isn't Steve being the alpha and like taking over this interview and answering these questions? Why is he allowing his child to do all of it?
Honestly, like, we're not, very sue happy people, and the benefit of that, I don't really know, because it's almost like whack-a-mole. Like you get one down and it, 4 others pop up, and it's almost like, where's that line drawn? At this point, we've had how many documentaries, we've had how many books, we've had how many articles. So, while we don't agree with it, I don't know if it's something that we would ever, take legal action over.
Yeah. The other side of the coin is the true story details. You don't even know them all yet. And they keep dropping, like that video that I don't know why I found it so jaw-dropping when I saw the video of the killer hours after his crime, wandering about his day into Costco, out of Costco,
what does that have to
into
do with that?
Albertsons. And I was immediately,
okay, she just like flip the subject. Like, I understand maybe like what she's trying to do here, but she went from we don't know anything at all to the video of Bryan at the Costco. Why are we talking about that when we were supposed to be talking about the movie? That's something that we actually know. That's a fact that we can see with our eyeballs. That's like the opposite of what she's talking about.
brought to you, and I wondered how you digested that. Steve, what was it like when you saw that?
Yes. Samantha Nelson, the oldest, his actual oldest, that he hasn't had anything to do with since him and Christy got married. And she has a child as well that he has nothing to do with. So he has a daughter and a granddaughter that he doesn't participate in their lives. Yes, you are correct.
Creepy to see that guy, the way he walks and moves. It's just unnatural to my eyes. I could see why a lot of girls could pick up on that vibe very quickly. Yeah, it's disturbing to know that that was just afterwards, and you want to analyze every action that he did before and after, and yeah, it's hard to watch that.
I mean, I get it from their perspective because they apparently fully believe what's happening and what they've been told. But this is, again, a fact that we know. We know that he went to the Costco. We know that he was driving around. We know all of that. So how they're going to depict that in the movie, I'm going to assume it's going to look pretty normal. He's going to get out of his car. He's going to go into the Costco. He's going to be turned around. Are they going to put all of these little bitty things in it where he leaves the Costco, goes to the Albertsons after driving around the Cup of Joe's parking lot? Are they going to put all those very minute details in there? Maybe. I don't know. Thanks for the 2, Wild Bill. I've seen bad ones on Nat Geo also. Bad ones. Bad ones of what? Now I'm confused.
Alivea, I think so many people on the outside of your story are so perplexed by it. And that doesn't even come close to what I imagine your family is feeling, that how confused you are by how someone could do this. And maybe that's why we're so voracious for every ounce of new detail that might lend us something.
Well, it's because they've given us nothing. They've lied about so many things. They've had to come out and backtrack about so many things. So now that the information's coming out, yeah, we're hungry for it because we've been trying to piece it together from the beginning. I mean, I will say it for the millionth time. This channel was fire and pitchforks the second that they announced that they got this guy. It wasn't until the PCA came out and we started actually paying attention to what they were telling us that a bunch of stuff stopped making sense. We didn't look for it to not make sense. We didn't go into following this case hoping that it was just going to be crazy and they weren't going to make any sense whatsoever and none of the pieces were going to fit together. Who follows something hoping that it all goes to shit? No, we hoped that it was right. We hoped they had the right person. They got what they wanted with the situation, but we started this believing the story, believing the narrative, believing that what they were telling us was factual. Just for 3 years later, pretty much everything to be unraveled and disproven by the same people who told us the story. That's not something that we can really sit here and ignore. We can't. So I don't find it being a problem that people are still out here looking for information. And for Banfeld to even, I mean, I don't know if she's going to try to make this seem as if it's something bad or not, but I don't know anybody else who has a burner phone who was trying to contact him in jail. That was this chick right here. So if anybody should be wanting information, shouldn't it be her? Because she's got something else in the back of her head going on in this situation with as drastic as she's done a few things. I'm just saying.
And I just wonder, are we getting any further with every little bit that's dropped, even the video, even being able to see him in action? Are we getting closer to understanding this monster?
I don't
really
think that
that.
we're
It's
ever
the
going to
timeline
get
we
closer
need.
to why, because I think that the why only makes sense in a psychopathic mind. So I don't want to understand.
Are her and Bill Thompson besties now? Did he kick Molly out of the freaking friend group and she took Molly's place? Can we stop the bullshit? Stop the bullshit. It's just never going to make sense to anybody with a normal mind. So it just doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter what it is. Y'all are all so stupid. Everybody who sits there and thinks that's a good idea, I'm sorry, but you're stupid. You always get whatever the motivation is. You always ask what could have been the reason why. It doesn't matter if it makes sense to you. It doesn't matter what some stupid ass FBI profiler might have said to Santa 3.5 freaking years ago, 3 years ago. Why would you not want to know? Why would you not want to know what was in this person's mind? Isn't that the whole point? Isn't that the whole point? The simple fact that this happened and everyone was just okay with no answers, none of this plea stuff should have happened. The second that they were like, okay, well, this is what you want to do, and then we're going to need a couple of things answered, and we're going to need a handwritten statement. You know, isn't that like the norm? Isn't that like normal for that to be the process? How come everybody that seems to have some sort of hold on this case doesn't want to know? And they make an excuse for not wanting to know. It's such a tired statement. I'm so sick of it.
Understand his why personally, because that would make me more like him. But as
no one's telling you you have to understand it. Who says you have to understand it? It's just a simple fact that no one seems to give a shit to even ask. But to also sit there and go so far as to be like, well, if I understand it, then that means I'm like him. That's not what that means at all. It means you have the cognitive ability to be like, okay, this person's brain is broken, and that's why this person thinks this way on a generalized concept. Just because you want to know an answer doesn't mean that you're trying to compare yourself to the person. I don't know who she's been listening to, but she really got to stop.
As far as, you know, that human need to, you know, want to satisfy something in yourself that provides comfort. I get it. And personally, I think it's because of the gag order and how restrictive it was and how long lasting it was that essentially they starved everyone out for information. So now every little piece that comes out is, you know, nitpicked and analyzed.
She's got a lot of room to talk considering she's the one who dropped that damn corner club footage. Have y'all gone to her TikTok to see how many people are following her and how many thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of views that she gets on her videos when she talks about this case? She's the one who put the corner club footage out. So to sit here and make it sound as if we're the bad guys for wanting to look at the information when you're the one throwing out the bait, the hypocrisy of this entire family, bro. Like, it's just insane.
And overanalyzed over and over and over, attempting to satisfy that starvation that we've all had for so long.
And yet it's not satisfying, at least not to me.
No. You know, you can sit there and look at that Costco video, and I did, and you know,
the Costco video is not going to give you any answers.
What? Is it more answers? Is it more questions? Is it applicable? Is it
the fact that you think you're going to get some answers out of a Costco video? Why are we making this Costco video something bigger than what it is? That's not what people are digging for here. I swear, anything to not focus on the actual thing, it's actually insane.
Yeah, it's absolutely creepy.
I mean, I think I took away, yes, he's heartless. He has no compunction. He's just done this horrifying thing, and life is, let's get a coffee. But I think, you know, I feel like I already knew that. I just maybe need it reinforced because it can't possibly be true. Like, I guess, Steve, that I keep coming back to my original resolution to this can't possibly be true. Please tell me there's something else. And I don't know that I'm getting there either.
That's because nobody who has any authority is trying to make it about anything else. It's all about the redundancy. She knows this. She needs to quit playing stupid.
Yeah, when you see that person walking around and you know the actions that they've done, you want to tell yourself that you'd be able to identify them, that they wouldn't be able to blend in. They wouldn't look like just a normal guy in the grocery store sitting next to you. So when you see it, it just creeps you out and gives you this, okay, this person isn't behaving in a manner that I would expect anyone who'd just done that. And I think that's a lot of the reasons why we all look at that and say, this just doesn't make sense.
And see, okay, so this is like where you can look at it both ways. I look at it like it's a normal day because y'all know how I feel about this entire situation. Okay. I feel like this is a normal day. We're watching him do normal things. But if you're on the other side, like if you're a family member, then yeah, that's going to be how you're going to look at it. And I don't fault them for that. If they really believe everything that's being put on the table by the people that lied to them for the past 3 years, then that's just how it is. That's how their brains are going to work. So I understand how he can look at this and be like, this dude just did this horrible shit and he's just going and buying a coffee and driving around like nothing's wrong. But then on the other side, like I said, you can look at it and be like, this is a typical Sunday. Dude's going and getting money from the ATM. He's driving around. He looks like he's in his like church clothes. It's all very dependent on your mindset on how you actually like take what we're watching.
We want to know we can identify the evil that walks among us. And when you look at that, you're absolutely right. I felt for the Costco greeter who brushed up against horror and didn't know it. I felt for the cashier who had no idea who was in front of them. I felt for the people who were just passing right by with bags full of groceries, that they had no idea how close they came to this monster among our flock, you know. Let me ask.
This monster among our flock? Girl, who do you really think that you are right now? Where do you think you are?
You about this new report that came out, and Olivia, maybe you can speak to this, that the deal was struck, the plea deal was agreed to by the killer just days after he learned that his sister was going to be on.
Okay, so I did leave this part in here. I don't find a relevance to this, and just like it's going to show in like the video that I put out about this in like a day or two, just because this damn list came out as an actual list doesn't mean that that's like the first time they knew, oh my God, she's going to be called by the state. This has been like years in the making. Conversations have been had over and over and over again. Lists have been amended, rewritten, started all over. That list coming out is not the first time they heard that she was going to be on that list. So for them to be trying to make it, oh, his sister was going to be called. Okay, well, they were also going to be called by the defense. What now? So no, I think there's a lot of weight being put on Amanda's name being on the state's list because people want the damn drama, and it's not necessary, and it honestly doesn't have anything to do with anything, and that's just my opinion.
The prosecution's witness list. Did that surprise you? Did it give you insight to anything at all?
No, I don't really believe that causation is correlation there. I think that the plea deal was a long time coming. I think that probably what had more of an impact on the plea deal being taken was the fact that the alternate perpetrator argument was struck down. They wouldn't be able to take that into the courtroom. So that door closed. They didn't have any more to open up. Time was winding down. I think it had very, very little to do with his sister being on that prosecution.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it too. On top of that, the alternate perpetrator stuff, which is what she's going to mention here in a second, we've pretty much felt for a long time now that was like the turning point. But it's just like what I just said about watching the Costco video. It depends on what side you're on, depending on how you view that situation. To me, because we watched what happened with Richard Allen with Delphi, we've watched it happen over and over again. If you've been following these cases where, you know, for some reason, evidence just isn't being presented and stories keep on changing and cops keep getting caught in bullshit and things aren't adding up. You see where the defense gets their hands tied behind their backs, where they're not able to come out and actually defend their client in the way that they should be able to defend their client. So to me, when the alternate perpetrator information got rejected the way that Hippler rejected it in his very unprofessional teenage boy sarcastic bullshit way that he rejected it, it was like, okay, we're not going to be able to like literally put anything on the table here. We're not going to be able to defend him. We're not going to be able to show anything, to prove anything, because they're just not going to let us. They're going to tell us no at every turn. They're going to tell us how we have to word things, what questions we can't ask. We can't do anything here. That's how I feel about the way that it suddenly went left, is that the way that the alternate perpetrators was rejected gave them an inkling of, okay, we don't really have a lot of choices here because the court's not giving us any freaking options. But then again, just like she's going to say, a lot of other people feel that are on the other side, like that was like the clue that whatever was going to be presented, it was all going to be bullshit and the judge just wasn't going to let it in because it was just a bunch of crap. Well, we don't know that, do we? they're not releasing the information. They're not unsealing the documents. So we don't know what was presented. We don't know if it was crap or not. We're going based off of one man's opinion, who at the end of the day wasn't even going to be the deciding factor. The judge is not the one at the end that's going to decide innocence or guilt. So that's just a personal opinion, or a paid one, or a paid opinion of the judges about what is good and what isn't. And so again, it just all depends on how you feel. I feel like it's more like Delphi. Like the defense just felt like, well, they're going to tie our freaking hands behind our backs and throw us off the plank. So what else are we supposed to do? That's just me personally.
Prosecutors list.
Hey, what do you think the prosecutors thought they were going to get from her?
There's been a long backstory of things that suggested that she, I think that there was people believing she had seen him with a knife personally.
Yeah, that part right there was wild, because where the frick did you get that shit from, Steve? Where? But I'll also say this. He bought that knife, a knife, from Amazon months before he moved. And if they were all living in the same house, I'm sure that she probably did see him with the one that was purchased on Amazon. It would be kind of strange if she didn't, if they all lived together. But this is, again, just something that Steve is just saying out of his ass. This has literally been nowhere. I've never even heard this portion before. He's just coming up with stuff just to do it, just to say stuff.
I think that would have been something that would have came up in talking about the murder weapon.
What else was said about this family, though? Both the state and the defense said very clearly and plainly there was nothing that the family had to say that was going to either be of any use to the state or that was going to go against Bryan, according to the defense. So again, this is just Steve making things up out of his own butt based off of what he wants it to be, because he's not paying attention to what was said. The family doesn't have anything to say that's worth a damn. In my personal opinion, they were probably going to ask her about the cell phone, because that's the only thing that she would have had to say, is the cell phone thing, where he took the cell phone and sold it at a damn kiosk when he had a substance issue whenever he was a minor. That's probably the only thing that was going to come out of her mouth, because what else is there? Nothing, according to, again, both sides.
Predating even moving out here would be very damning to their case. And I don't think they were able to ever give a replacement for what was missing. So the time was running out, and even having his family and all those people, that probably didn't help to remind him that he was cooked, and the evidence was there.
How old are you, Steve? How old are you, Steve? I'm almost 40. You've got to be in your high 50s. You've got to be older than my mama, okay? Why are you using the word cooked at your age about a serious situation like you're some sort of TikTok dude? Can we not? Can we not? That's ridiculous.
There, and he wasn't going to get out to be able to go recover any of those things. His time he totally ran out to try to swap one for another.
Steve, I know there are so many people in law enforcement and who are involved, in this case, even in an ancillary way, who have so much love and respect for your family and care and concern for you all, and you in particular. Has anyone reached out to you to tell you any information about how he's faring now, months after?
See, okay, pay attention to how he answers this question. And remember who he is, okay? We are not coming out here and just saying a bunch of crazy shit because we just don't like this dude. I'm saying what I'm saying based off of the patterns of behavior that I have observed this man portraying very in my face for the past 3 years. Okay? Watch how he answers this question. And then you can tell me by the time he's done answering it, if you really feel like somebody's actually telling him stuff, or if he's just going back in the back of his memory to all of the stuff that came out about the complaints that Bryan wrote at the prison, and he's trying to make it sound like something that it's not. He's trying to make it sound like it's important to his knowledge, when we already know out of his own face that no one tells this man anything. So just listen.
After now that he's been locked away, have you learned anything that it's hard to say could feel good, but at least might feel like some kind of justice.
Yeah, I have heard that he isn't doing so well in that prison system that he's in the block that he's at. He's very adamant that he has rights in there that need to be respected. And I think he's starting to learn that, you picked a place where we don't spend a lot of money on people that we throw the key away on. So, you pick their state, now you got to live it. You don't do the crime if you can't do the time. And he's going to be doing the time. And I've been hearing a lot about how the amount of noise that he's making in there isn't doing him any favors.
The amount of noise that he's making in there isn't doing him any favors. So again, you're just regurgitating a bunch of crazy shit that we heard whenever we read some of the reports that came out of him saying something about the food and about how people are harassing him through the vents and stuff like that. That stuff came out a couple months ago. So it just seems like he's taken something that we've already known and he's trying to just like make it sound like, yeah, I got people telling me info. I got people telling me stuff. No, you don't. No, you don't. Quit playing. Quit playing. I know it's just too much. He gets on my damn nerves. It's dumb. It's just so stupid. And I hate it because it's not the whole family. Like, I don't have nothing against the other kids. I don't have anything against Steven either, even though he's with the other Alivea chick. You know what? Do your own thing. The speech that he came out and said after the sentencing was chef's kiss. That should have been said in courts. That should have been said in court. I feel bad for their other two kids or the other girls because they're just out there throwing all of their freaking information like all over the place, which is not okay, especially after you've already had such a crazy situation where you're going to try to pretend like somebody was stalking your child over the internet, even though the states already came out and said that's not true. But then you're throwing all of your kids' information, their pictures, their videos, half naked and everything out there on the freaking Goncalves page to get attention. I'm like, you're living in the exact opposite way that you should be living if you really believe the bullshit that you're out here spewing. That's just my opinion on that. That's just my opinion on that. I've read a lot of conversation between her and Kaylee regarding Samantha. Alivea is a big mean girl. Big mean girl. So there's a lot of stuff. So I don't know. I guess so. Let's end it this way. Let's end it this way. Put a 1 in the chat if you don't think that it's a big deal about it being a Lifetime movie because it's Lifetime and they've already like done stuff about the case. Or put a 2 in the chat if you don't like it. If they shouldn't be doing it. My whole shouldn't be doing it is on books. Books are something that unless there's a story with a finalized situation, don't write the damn story. Unless you know for a fact it's closed, don't write it. Yeah, I don't know. I don't feel like it's a big deal. That's just me personally. I personally feel like this was going to happen anyway, and we're going to hear about it again in another few months when another company decides to do their own thing. And then about a few months later, we're going to hear another one, and they're all just going to be completely repetitive of each other. Lots of 2s. Some 1s, lots of 2s. Yeah, I don't know. I just don't feel like it's a big deal. I want the truth. And this is the problem that I have because we don't have timelines. We don't have any of the information. We have some information. We don't have all of the information. So they know that what they're putting out there in the name of something real is going to be false. Oh, you think it's not a big deal that the family wasn't contacted? Well, I'm wondering if any of the other families were contacted. I feel like they should have been contacted. That's just me, even though I don't like them. I feel like they should have been contacted because this is a real life situation. But I guess they just don't have to. Yeah, I feel like it's not a big deal because it is just another media piece. That part right there. And that's another thing. The misinformation is already so rampant. I would love for one of these big companies to do it right. But we can't just like cross our fingers and be like, oh, we've got faith that they're going to actually like put true information and go based off documents and not sensationalize and dramatize and all this other crazy shit. I don't know. I don't know. I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think any of them are ever going to like be honest. I don't think they're going to be honest. Thanks for the $5 shenanigans. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's what I don't understand either. They've been allowed to come out here and say a bunch of falsities, and then these big stations are allowed to come out and regurgitate things that have already been proven false, and I don't understand that either. I don't understand that either. And yeah, that's true too. They could have been, and they're just full of shit because, you know, I don't really trust them in that regard because they've not been honest about that kind of stuff before. That's another thing. Like, I don't know a lot of people that have cable. And anytime I've had to watch anything on Lifeline, I've had to do it through the website. Like, I've had to log in and do it through the website. I live in the upside down. It sure the frick feels like that, doesn't it? It does. Loosely based on truth. Like I said, Gypsy Rose came out and said that the Lifetime movie that was done on her situation, not publicly, but in her emails where she thought people weren't ever going to read the shit that ended up coming out a couple months back, she said that the Lifetime one was the most accurate. So I guess we have that. But again, we don't have all the facts on this case. What are they going to do with Xana and Ethan's story? How are they going to portray that whenever we don't have the facts on that? I just don't know if I can trust it all. Yeah, we haven't had cable in probably like over a decade. It's so pointless. Whenever we were in the hospital, we had to turn on like the hospital TVs. Don has never watched cable TV. Like, he's 7. So the whole time he's been alive, we've had streaming things. So we're in the hospital, both places, and we turn on the TV and he's trying to find something and like the commercials come on. And you know how the commercials just keep going and going and going. There's like 8 freaking commercials. Well, he calls them ads because he doesn't know them as commercials. He thinks they're ads. And so he's like wanting to change the channel every time the commercials come on because he's like, there's like 8 ads. It's never going to stop. I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to not stop just because you change the channel. Like, it was a whole new experience for him trying to figure out what was going on with the TV. Yeah, he calls them ads. He's never seen like cable TV and like had to deal with commercials. So when he watches YouTube, when he watches Netflix, anything, we call it ads. So it was a whole different experience. It was all different for him. Well, thank you, Jesse. I want to thank you for digging for the truth and not backing down like some other channels. A lot of creators flip their script after the plea, like nothing to see here. That's what bothered me. Because how are we going to get to that point and you not ask even more questions now? Like, how do all the questions that you have suddenly become answered with that one little thing? They don't. Nothing. No questions that we had about this case have been answered since he'd pled guilty. I was hoping that once we were done with sentencing, they would come out and I could eat crow. No, not yet. Still waiting. Pots on the stove. Nice, warm, and ready. Not happening. The instant they came out and were like, yeah, no, we can't answer that. Yeah, no, we looked for that too. We tried to find that connection. We couldn't find anything. No. It just made the whole thing even more confusing. And honestly, really pissed me off. Like, I know that the people that were here on the live when the sentencing stuff was happening could see how freaking angry I was. Because how did this answer any questions? How? It didn't. It didn't. And all the gaslighting, again, the same way that she just did, the same thing that stupid Santa keeps coming out and pulling. Oh, well, it's just not going to make sense to anybody with a normal brain, so there's just no point in asking. That is the dumbest cop-out I have ever heard in my life. Dumb stuff. Dumb. Me too, bro. We ready. We're waiting. We're waiting. Not happening. God, it makes me so... I know. Like, I really do get mad. I will. I swear on everything. It makes me so mad. I just want something to be consistent. And again, this is just one case. This is just one case that's out here to the world. Think about how many other cases are this screwed up that we don't have any clue about because they're not out in the front. Millions throughout a decade? I mean, who would have thought that there would even be over 250,000 SA cases in Houston for them to get rid of over a 4-year period? That's 250,000 instances of depravity that they shoot away like it was nothing. That's just Houston. That's 250,000 in just Houston. I don't even want to try to think about what the real number could be. It just makes me sick. It really does. Makes me sick. Okay. I'm going to go off of here. Even though it's probably going to get on some people's nerves, I honestly don't give a shit because I already said I was going to do this. And it's finally been scheduled out the way that I wanted to do it. All of the little 5-minute segments of the 1112 King Road packeted boo-boo that we've gotten so far, I finally was able to get them all separated and put together and uploaded today, and they're going to be scheduled to release every morning from now until the 26th of October at like 7:45 in the morning, just to get them out there in the 5-minute segments so that they're out there separately the way that they were received by me. I said I was going to do that. I finally got to sit down and do it all today. Look at my list. Check mark, check mark, check mark. I finally finished it. So that's out there for the people that can't click on Google links, can't do nothing else. Y'all will have that. I have like a few minutes left of the Eric Warner body cam. I know that's old. I know it's been some weeks. I've been busy. Things have been cray cray. We're still going to go over the body cam stuff here on lives. And I think that's it for now on this part. I know we've got Gundersons and we have Warners. I don't know if there's been anything else yet. I'm still waiting on responses to a lot of the FOIA stuff. And I've been checking like every day, a couple times a day, to see if ISP has anything back out yet. Because remember what the director of the lab said to me, that we were going to be getting, or they were going to be getting all of their criminal analysis and the stuff about like anything they did in the lab ready for public. And I really, really want that. I really, really want that on top of my information I asked him specifically about when it comes to him and Blaker's trip down to Houston to Othram Labs. I wonder if he even knows that Blaker's report doesn't have a word about him in it. I wonder if I'm the first person that told him that. Because he sure told the court in January that both him and a Boise cop went down there, and Blaker doesn't even mention this dude. So that's wild. There's just a lot of stuff that we're still waiting for. And it's all fact things that are going to be extremely important to go through. I'm just waiting for the one thing. And I know we still have to go over a lot more when it comes to the car stuff. I haven't forgotten that the footage is out there. There's just a million things that keep popping up, and we still have to go back to it. It's on the list. It's on the list to go in and look at the car stuff more specifically. But I'm also going in and trying to find more stuff. Like I've had people send me some photos from previous that we've seen of his vehicle, but that's also why I asked Celebrite if they had anything else besides selfies that they could send me, and they still have never responded. I might do a follow-up email. I'm sure they've seen my video talking shit by now. That's probably why they're not going to answer me. But that's fine because, you know, that just means that you're not up for a challenge, and that's fine with me too. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. I am going to go ahead and get off of here. Thank you for the 10, Sean. Thank you for the 2, Wild Bill. And thank you for the 5, Shenanigans. Thank you so much for y'all jumping in here with me tonight. I don't know if my other video is going to be out tomorrow afternoon. I'm really trying to do like 3:15, 3:45, and then if I go live, 7:45. But y'all are probably sick and tired of me telling y'all what my schedules are trying to be like, because I can never keep it straight, and it's just going to happen when it happens. But, you know, y'all were here. Y'all saw this one, and that works just fine for me too. And we just get things done as we get things done. I'm going to get off of here and go give Dawn some more meds. Got to keep it ahead of time. This whole thing is crazy. I'm going to be putting a video out about what happened while we were at the hospital, because just wait. Just wait till y'all hear this crazy insanity. But I'm going to get off of here. You guys have a super great night. Thank you so much again for being in here with me. I am going to let this roll out real quick. Please do not forget to leave a like on your way out and subscribe to the channel if you are not subscribed already. All right, you guys, y'all have a good night. See y'all.